welcome to Love Always Self. I'm Shyra.
Hey y'all, I'm Karista. Hope y'all are having a great day today and thanks for joining us. And also hope you all had a wonderful, beautiful, happy holiday.
Whoop, whoop.
Yay! Hope you got to spend some time with your family or friends, or at least got some downtime, some time to relax and just enjoy the space around you and connect with your own energy and the energy of Source and all that is love and light. So, hope you guys got to do that. Yeah.
I know that's what I'm doing. And playing around with the whole, you know, like at my place of work, it's just we get like a week off. And so between the holidays,
Mhm.
and that's probably my favorite is just having
Some
the
downtime.
opportunity. Yeah, the opportunities to like wake up whenever you feel like it and not wake
Boy,
up with any
I
type
never
of
thought I'd say this, but I miss school and
you.
having like a month off during Christmas break and then 3 months off during
Oh,
summer. That's why I miss school.
that's why you miss school. I miss nap time.
Oh,
I was like really
man.
young. I mean, you don't get that in high school, but still, when like you're a kid.
But you need it as you get older. I think we
Yeah,
should have that in our culture. Some of the other cultures that practice that regularly, man, they've got it right.
dude.
They've got it right.
They don't some countries they actually get like 2 to 3 hours in their day for like a lunch hour, but it's
With
like a
their
rest hour.
siesta. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ugh.
yeah. Let's incorporate that. Come on,
We could
America. Let's get on
definitely,
this.
I think we could definitely learn from other countries rather than just thinking we're this special country that's got it all figured out. Let's be real. We don't have it figured out. Things are changing all the time. And so we should be able to be more fluid with how we support our community and just ourselves, and especially now that we are, self-care is such a hot topic word. So I think that it would be nice if we could actually start incorporating that in our professional lives as well. But that is just my 2 cents.
Well, we're all working through the whole, you know, self-care bit, and this is kind of the theme that I know you and I clearly this is the theme that we've created for ourselves is
Mhm.
to start with self, and then that includes a lot of self-care. That includes
Mhm.
like taking care of the physical, taking care of the spiritual, taking care of the mental, the all of the encompassing parts of us.
And even the socializing aspect, like taking
Mhm.
care of relationships, quality relationships that are supportive of our overall well-being and growth and just experience of love in this reality too.
Yeah. It's all important. It's all important. It's all connected. Everything's
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah. Even the intellect too, right? Like life is about growth, and how can you continue growing if you don't keep learning? So learning new things,
Yeah.
intellectual self-care.
So speaking of growth, this is I think where our topic is going today is
Mhm. Mhm.
looking at what we're releasing and bringing into the new year.
And
Um,
yeah, what we're clearing space for. So what we're releasing, letting go, leaving behind in 2021, and you know, clearing space for what is new and better for our growth in this moment and in the near future into 2022. So what do we want to bring
well,
in?
let's chat about that, shall we?
Yeah.
So for me, I've been kind of keeping myself very locked away and submerging a lot into the day job and what you and I are creating here. Um, and I've allowed a lot of for me personally, I've allowed a lot of the fear of the sitch, that's what we're
Mm-hmm.
calling it, everybody, to really encompass me into my own little bubble. Now, granted, I needed a lot of what took place over the last, you know,
What this provided you time
right,
for.
right. Like that was great for me because I was so go, 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 go. So for me, the things that I'm releasing from this past year is my fears. That's my biggest one is releasing the fears of uh, the traumatic experiences that I had at the beginning of 2021, going through the year of 2021, um, and all of the use of my discernment and adding judgments and fears and everything attached to those. So my biggest release is going to be that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm planning to do and not bring with me into the new year.
So you'll be releasing the attachment to fear,
Mm-hmm.
and how that impacts our choices and our beliefs and our
Mm-hmm.
patterns. Um, Not saying that fear isn't appropriate at certain times, right? We've discussed this several times in previous episodes that the this our ego placing fear in front of us can be a survival technique. So making sure that we are, taking that time to practice that self-care, to check in with our body, check in with those thoughts, and evaluate if that's something that you need to um, review more, see where that fear is coming from, if there's something that you need to do to make yourself safe. And then also reviewing to see if it's maybe a fear that's no longer serving you. Yeah,
Right.
that's a big one,
It
Shy.
it is.
So,
It's not been easy. I can tell you that.
so by releasing the attachment to fear, tell me what that creates space for you to bring in 2022.
So I got to play around with this a little bit last night. My husband and I went out to dinner and we went into a public space. I haven't done anything like that in a long time. And when I did this, this is what was coming up for me, that I had been living in such a fearful state for so long that I was missing out on all the fun and excitement and adventure that I could have been having. And so um, I'm going to let go of the judgment towards myself that I went through that experience, because I believe in the fact that everything that you experience is for your greatest good in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how you're feeling at that point in time. And so without trying to be judgy to me,
Mm-hmm.
um I just knew right then and there in that instance, in that situation, that I was releasing what I was so afraid of. And it was allowing me to experience so much more fun. So that's one of my next goals into 2022 is creating a more fun environment for myself and with my spouse and in my family dynamics and with my friends, and getting out and seeing you guys again, and like doing the things that I love doing but are still in the same alignment that I want to be in. So that's it's just going to be this entire year of creating the reality I have always wanted. And so here we go. Let's do this.
So playing in space, in the space that you're creating, being more playful.
Being more playful in the space that
Mm.
I'm creating. And just diving into self discovery of what that looks like for me,
Yeah.
and how that makes me feel. So finding things that I really enjoy outside of my tiny bubble here in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And
Your
so
office.
in my office, it's always the office. Okay, yeah. Hey, I did make this office very beautiful for me to spend time in. So there.
That's a part of you creating your sacred space. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. It's important to have it in your house, but it's also important to continue to carry that sacred space with you outside of the house and recognize that you can also create that sacred space even amongst chaos.
Mm,
It's difficult.
very.
Say it was easy, but it's
Shit is hard.
possible.
What are you doing? What are you releasing from 2021?
Yeah, so I am releasing the pattern of having to control other people's experiences. So making sure that they feel good when they're, you know, around me. So, one of my biggest things that I have done since I was a child uh, is always be concerned about other people's the perception of an event, of an experience, maybe a relationship. And I've been frequently concerned about disappointing, um, feeling shame if somebody isn't feeling happy. So I am starting to recognize that it is not my responsibility to choose for somebody else how they will feel or experience something. I can do what I can to present myself from a space of love and kindness and compassion and joy. But ultimately, it is up to the other person to choose how they receive and experience something. I also have to recognize that each of these people, whatever they choose to experience or perceive, is something to help support them in their soul's growth. So if I am constantly taking responsibility to make sure somebody is happy and, you know, feeling good about an
Right.
experience, then I have the potential to take away their possible soul, like the growth in that moment that could be presented to them. So it's not my responsibility. um, it is my responsibility to choose how I experience something and choose the emotion that I want to maybe, or maybe not the emotion, but the path that I want to take in an experience. So that's on me to do what I need to do for my soul's growth. And by living in love and acceptance of that for myself, I am supporting others by being a light in that. It's up to them, though, to see it, receive it, perceive it
Yeah.
in that light.
That's a great example, I mean, as in you are setting an example, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And you're taking, I mean, I just kind of want to say it, you're taking your power back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing to do. And that's something that I feel I'm pretty okay with. Um with that whole standing my ground on like the things that my wants, likes, dislikes, and sometimes that can get a little jacked up, but it's something that when you present that to others and they see
Hmm.
you do it, it's almost they feel, and I don't think they do it consciously, but they feel like they are now given permission to do the same thing.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it is setting an example,
Hmm. Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah. So I think this clears space for less heaviness, right? So more light floating, not feeling that responsibility of affecting somebody else in a certain way, but really just standing in my own joy and love and feeling empowered by that and energized by that. So I think this is going to benefit me to be more joyful in my experiences because I'm less concerned about making other people joyful.
Right.
And if I'm not stressed about that, then I can actually experience the joy. And then those other people can experience me being joyful as well.
Right. Because you're not focused on the thoughts of others
Right.
in that sense. You're focused on
Yeah.
actually just enjoying the moments that you're in, which
Hmm.
brings
Hmm.
about usually a much more fun experience. Ooh, you and I
Absolutely.
get to play with that.
Absolutely.
Hey,
More
you come to
fun.
my fun experience.
Yay.
And then you don't worry about what everybody else is thinking. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with that too, I'm able to release some of the shame of not, surrounding, connected to not being able to control their experiences.
Hmm.
So that's not mine to carry.
Right.
So again, feeling a little more lightweight and free to go with the flow and, stop trying to control things as much, letting go of that control factor.
So, releasing the worry of other people's experiences when you're trying to create a good experience.
Hmm. Hmm. And on top of that, I know that when it comes to making a decision for what I want to do, I definitely fold a lot quicker on what I want to make other people happy. So I will also make space to do more of the things that I want
What does that
to
look like?
experience.
What does that look like?
I don't know
Like,
yet.
what are some of the things that you want to
I'll
do?
get back to
You'll
you.
get back. I'm still working on that, Shire. We haven't hit 2022 yet.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely had some things that I wanted to do this past year that I didn't do, like getting my motorcycle license and stuff like that, just fun
Oh,
things. Um, but not saying that I've folded on that. It's just I haven't created space for that. Um, and I think part of that's because I get so focused on, again, making sure that everybody else is happy doing what they're doing. And then if I happen to have time to do what I want to do, then I will do it.
I think I just want to see your long purple hair on a motorcycle, like flying, like because it's so
Oh
long.
my
And I just
gosh.
got this like cartoon, like anime image of like you on a motorcycle with your colorful hair, and it's just like going back, like from the helmet, Like I don't know, I'm
Do
on
you
it,
realize how many knots would be in my hair?
dude. It'd be
Yeah.
so much fun to watch, though.
That shit would be very
Maybe not
good.
brush out, but it would be amazing to
Yeah.
watch. Please have a pink jumpsuit for this, please.
Not purple to go with
Or
my hair.
purple. It works. It'd just be super colorful. Be like, look at that unicorn riding on a motorcycle. Like,
Like
oh,
a
the
backwards
imagery.
unicorn
The
with the
back full on imagery in my head right now. I love every minute of that. Oh my gosh. Okay, calming down.
Did you have anything else that you were planning on letting go of in 2021?
Oh man. Yeah, I'm working on setting boundaries. So I was on this call at work, and someone had said to me, uh, "Hey, sorry I didn't get back to you because I was at lunch." And I was like, "Man, what does a lunch look like?" you know, and they're like, "I schedule at least an hour on my. I block it out, and I make sure that I take that time to walk away and eat and things like that." And I was thinking to myself, I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't do that. And I should. And there's no reason for me not to. And so it's it's the awareness that I'm creating the hectic
Mm.
decisions and choices. And I could just block an hour, might not be the same hour every day, but I could block an hour out on my schedule every day to ensure that I'm bringing in my nutrients and rest and resets
And
and
water.
water. I know that's a terror.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad at that. Maybe that I should put that on my 2022 list is drink
There
more
you go.
water.
There you go.
Hydrate. Hydrate. I put a big banner in my office. It just says hydrate. I do. I forget. So yeah, I mean, and that's setting the boundaries with the work is
Mm-hmm.
probably going to be a big one
Mm-hmm.
for me. And so that's it's a difficult one for me though. And I
Yeah.
know I'm going to have some challenges presented with that one. But it's got to get done for my sanity.
I mean, that is definitely a regular challenge, right? Maintaining our sanity.
Mm.
So I think this is a really good one for you because you're work days are so insane. And so I think this is going to be super beneficial
Yeah.
to taking time to caring for yourself and connecting with your body and doing all the things that we, talk about doing. um, Prioritizing your needs, going to the bathroom, not holding on to the toxins because
Ew.
you've got too many people chatting you.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
First time you ever said that to me, I was like, I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Yeah.
You're like, you're holding in toxins. And I'm like, ew. I like
Yeah.
just jetted off. I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yes. Yes. You I hope that this helps you learn that it is always okay to say I'll be right back,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when you have to use the bathroom or refill your water.
Yeah. It's an interesting thought process to switch out of.
Mhm.
This thought of rest and relaxation is perfectly fine. And
Mhm.
so setting a boundary, and feeling like you're still doing a good enough job. And so it's a very interesting concept, especially when you've been in a workaholic mentality or state of mind for so many years.
Yeah.
And so that's something I know is probably going to take a while to transition out of. And then of course the woo woo side of me is kind of like, well, or you could just flip the switch and just do it, Shyra. One of those two.
Mhm.
So like
God, I mean, it sounds so simple, right?
it
Just do
does.
it,
Right.
but it's so hard to like put into practice on a regular basis and make a new habit.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is.
So
It's creating a new habit. So
it is. And I think it takes at least 21 days to create a new habit. So
humans.
first 3 weeks of January, let's go. Let's get on that horse.
Just make it happen. What about you? Anything else you're going to bring into 2022?
This is one that I've struggled with for a long time, but my limiting beliefs on money.
Mm,
So, always having to be stringent on my spending and being concerned about, paying off debt before, we do anything else to continue to work on our house or whatever it is that we feel is necessary to spend money on. So, releasing any blockages that I have, any of these, you know, um, patterns of having to live within this fear based mentality of not having enough, always being concerned, will I make ends meet?
yeah.
I've always made ends meet. Like, there's never been a time in my life where I wasn't, it's just I've always had this fear or this feeling, this pattern that I have lived in of will there be enough?
Yeah.
And maybe not just in the immediate future, but in the long term, will there be enough?
That's interesting.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's interesting. Yeah, I abundance is a interesting one to try and grasp. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's
She's a
so
fickle little
she's a
beast.
fickle little lady. So it's one of those things where uh it's fluid,
Mhm.
and it has a lot, and just in my own experiences, it has a lot to do with where you are in your mindset.
Mhm.
And there's all these people out there that talk about, like, I'm sure you could YouTube search like abundance, manifestations, all of that. um but it's that releasing that thought of lack that's the hardest part, and not feeling abundant,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know
I watched a YouTube video in the last couple of days, and it talked about um, the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
yeah.
I haven't read it, but definitely heard of it. But the reason why poor families continue to be poor, and even if they do all the things right and are super smart with their money, and then why rich families always do well even if they are stupid with their money, is because it's this mindset that they have grown up around and created these patterns in the first 7 years of life. Uh, and so that is the pattern that I am releasing, is what I learned in my younger years of being fearful of not being able to make ends meet.
Mm. That's hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It requires a lot of discipline
Ooh, trust
and trust. Mhm.
that the universe will deliver,
Yeah.
and that, even if the flow of money is impeded in that moment, the potential that this is something to assist you in your growth too.
And it could be an experience that you also need to have.
Right.
Like it might be something that you called in to have that experience.
Right.
That's a tough pill to swallow
Yeah, it
all the
is.
time.
It's a horse pill. Hey, Zeus.
What? I called in what? I've done that. I've had moments where I'm like talking to my higher self and I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? I don't want this at all. And then
So,
I learned the lesson from it and I'm like, I see. And that took longer than I wanted. So,
lessons.
yeah.
Well, that intellectual self care.
I'd be like, can I just get the download and we just talk about it and that's cool. We don't
Can
have
I
to
just
go through
get the
the
Cliff Notes
experience.
version?
Right. You shorten this up a bit.
So, wanted to quickly chat about some numbers because you brought this up during our last episode, and I just thought it would be a good thing to review again, since we are. I'm sure you're not aware. Let me make you aware. We're moving into 2022.
What?
Yeah, I know. Time is a real mind
What
fuck.
just happened?
So, for our fun with numerology today, we just wanted to chat about the number two and the energy that this is bringing forward for the next year. So, the number two resonates with vibrations of and attributes of service and duty, balance and harmony, adaptability and diplomacy, cooperation and consideration, receptivity and love. So, um, what some other words that I picked up were unity, creativity, awareness, acceptance of self, harmony. Please bring on the harmony. Compassion. Also, please bring that on. Open discussions and partnerships,
Mhm.
and service to others. So all of this is, it's just all different words or aspects of love. But, working together to recreate the community that we desire, that we see in our heart, that helping, that loving, that connected community. So that's kind of what I was um, bringing in for 2022.
Wow. I love that. And with 2022, this is interesting because I had received a little nugget from the guides this morning when you and I were about to hit record.
Mm-hmm.
The creation of self is and always infinitely will be the awareness of self, is what they said. And I'm going to have to just totally make a social post on that because that is so beautiful. And a lot of mic drops are in that. And what you just said with the significance of the twos and how
Mm-hmm.
it has an association with the new beginning, it's kind of like
Yeah.
talking about that design, that creation, that
Mm-hmm.
awareness within
Mm-hmm.
that allows us to bring on those new beginnings.
And you can't have new beginnings without endings. And we, I think, have been receiving a lot of information about things that are no longer serving our community for good. Yes, there are things that have never been good in our community, right? That has not really served us in a positive aspect unless we look at the soul growth that is needed for those individuals. Um, but as these things continue to come to light, we are able to actually address them.
Right.
I know it's hard information. I know it's sad. It's can be scary. It can be angering as well. Uh, but I hope that we use that fire that's ignited to create this united front of love and support and service and unity within our collective consciousness.
It's it's well needed, and I am looking forward to all the lessons
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that we will likely be experiencing in 2022. Um, but with that breakdown, we start to build up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah,
I while we were talking, I was playing around with my one of my new decks. Everyone, I got a new deck, the Oracle of the Fairies
I just love that
by
you
Karen
are so
K.
aligned with fairies. It's
I
not
do.
even funny. I
I even
love
have
that.
like fairy ears. Just naturally. So I was asking for the collective, what are we bringing in? What is our focus? How do we bring in these good energies in 2022? So first one is recognizing how precious time is
Mhm.
and the
Oh, I like her
present
top hat.
moment. Oh, I thought you were saying her top, but yes.
Her top
Isn't that
hat.
cute? It's very steampunk.
It is. She's a steampunk fairy. I love it.
Yeah, she is. So time is precious. Not that we are short on time, but the moment in which we are in is the precious present. If you haven't read that book, it's a really good book. It's super short. I think I
And
read it
super
as a
short.
kid.
She's like, Shyra,
Super fast
you would
read.
even read this.
So, recognizing the beautiful opportunities in each moment to recognize the joy, the magic, the love that is coursing through each moment. And then with that magical experience, so
Oh, how
bringing
weird.
in, I know, more magic in general. So, being open to seeing the magic, right? There's so much magic in everyday life that
Every
we
day.
just pass by. We're on our phones, we're consumed by what we're doing on our to do list, what we forgot, what we should have done differently, that we miss out on seeing just the smallest beautiful magical things, whether it's a flower blooming, a leaf falling and floating down from a tree, the clouds moving across the sky, the full moon on a clear night, the joy of playing with animals or children, planting, making food, just y-
I just heard that even the distractions have magic within it
mm, mhm, mhm.
if you open your awareness to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
I'm going
all
to
this
write
is
that down.
about. It's opening our awareness and being open to receiving these little nuggets of magic. And then finally, we're going to bring in more music, guys.
Heck yeah. That's
So
that raise your vibe music.
yes, yes. So whether it's singing, whether it's playing an instrument, dancing to the music, even music in your own head, this is all about play, about having fun, about moving our energies, our vocal energies, our spiritual energies, our physical energies. All of this is, again, to raise your vibration. And that will help you connect with your higher self, your source, or not your source, and your guides. So let's bring on some more
Let's do
present,
this.
being present, seeing the magic, and let's do it through music, guys.
Oh my gosh. And that'll be incorporating the fun piece. So
Yes, the
let's go dancing. Let's go
play.
dancing. How long has it
Yes,
been?
I know. Even if it's in the backyard, like I'd be fine with that. Just moving those hips, like we're we move in such a single direction, right? Our hips get so stagnant and the energy just gets stuck in our hips and we get so much low back pain and abdominal discomfort and knee pain is, from being pulled, from shortening muscles from sitting. Like, let's
I
just
know all
move our
about that
asses.
sitting. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move our asses. Let's shake it off.
Do those
Let's
weird hip moves, Don't care about what other people think. Just do it.
little Zumba.
Little Zumba.
Little Shakira.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing. Seriously.
Yeah, some belly dancing. Get that in there.
That lady has like zero grounding issues.
My gosh. She's incredible. Yeah.
She's
And
magical.
she's ageless too.
She doesn't age. What is
Yeah,
that?
yeah. But I feel like when we move our hips, right? We there's, I don't know, this sense of feeling young, and because we're moving all that energy, uh that can stagnate from sitting so long, I do feel like that is a component of keeping ourselves young, right? Not
It
just like
is.
how we look, but how we feel too.
Yeah. Oh man, we could talk an entire another hour about youth and being youthful. Um, but that's for another episode. So, all right. So in closing, we've got fun things to look forward to in the upcoming year,
Woohoo.
and yes, and fun things to release from the current year.
Yes, we are clearing out the old, letting it go, and creating space for new energies and new guidance and new patterns and things that will serve us better going forward.
Mm, the theme of 2022: let it go and let it flow.
Amen to that. Love it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you have, again, a wonderful holiday rest of your week, and have fun bringing in this new year. And let's just focus on that, just love and excitement and creativity and creation.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. And
Happy New Year.
don't forget,
Love first
love last.
and love always. Hey, listener, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to our next connection.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms linked in the show notes below.
I'm Karista.
And I'm Shyra.
And until next time, remember to love first,
Love last,
and love always. Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you choose to take upon the information in this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from the information discussed in this podcast.